IGCSE revision tourism. So, leisure is any freely chosen activity that takes place in a non-work time, so just leisure what you do for fun. Tourism, the business or industry of providing information, accommodations, transportation, and other services to tourists. Domestic tourist is someone who goes on holiday in the country that they live in. An international tourist is someone who goes on holiday to a country they don't live in. A resort is a type of large hotel that offers extra facilities like swimming pools, spas, restaurants, bars, activities, etc. A package holiday is when all aspects of a holiday, e.g., flights, hotel transfers, etc., are included in one overall price. All-inclusive is a hotel or resort that includes everything, for instance, food, activities, and drinks, in one overall price. Low-cost or budget airline are airlines that provide cheap flights by removing all add-ons as standard and charging people if they want them. For example, if you want to check in at the airport or check a bag into the hold, reserve a seat, or even eat food on the flight, you have to pay extra. That's how they make it super cheap, because they don't give you anything unless you pay for it. Okay, growth of tourism. Tourism is a rapidly growing industry and is considered by many countries to be an important development strategy. Currently, the majority of international tourists go to MEDCs, but many LEDCs are also seeing rapid growth in tourism. So why does tourism increase? And on every single tourism question on paper 1 I've ever seen, always it's either a 2 or 3 mark question. What are some reasons for growth of tourism? So remember at least 5, just to be sure, in case it's one time like a 5-point question. Firstly, a paid holiday. Not only do an increasing amount of workers receive holidays, but they're paid for it. This means that people don't lose their weekly income by going on holiday. For instance, in a school, for teachers, they get a shit ton of holiday because they get the same holidays as students do. But in normal jobs, you get like around 1 week to 2 weeks of holiday per year. But you still get paid during the holidays, so that's a good thing. So you can easily go on holiday. Also, there's a higher disposable income. Disposable means that they can waste. So more and more people are working in the secondary and tertiary sectors, where pay is generally higher, so they have more money that they can spend on holidays. Also, transport. Air travel has become relatively cheap, and there are now more airports open for holiday flights. Also, advertising. People are now bombarded by holiday adverts on the internet, television, radio, mobile phones, billboards, etc. This makes people more aware of holiday destinations and possibly more tempted to book them. Also, travel programs. Lots of travel programs on television, so people are able to view destinations that they have not heard of, tempting them to go. Also, tourist facilities. Tourist facilities have generally improved and increased in number. There are now many more hotels of all sizes, and most have fairly standard services. Freedom. More people, especially women and the elderly, are free to travel and go on holidays, which wasn't always the case because at one point women were like super inferior to men and couldn't do anything alone, but now they can, so yeah. Range of holidays. There's now a much greater variety of holidays that can attract potential tourists, e.g. golf holidays, diving holidays, skiing holidays, lots of different kind of stuff. Ease of booking. The internet has now made booking holidays much more straightforward, so more people are going to do it if it's so easy. Lastly, retirement and life expectancy. People are now living longer and remain healthier longer. An increasing amount of people also retire with a pension. This means that people are fit enough and healthy enough to go on holiday. Okay, why would the tourist industry grow in LEDCs in less economically developed countries? Well, firstly, there are new places. People are getting increasingly bored of traditional locations like the States, France, Italy, and want to experience new and exotic destinations like Indonesia or, Malaysia, stuff like that, or Cuba. And exchange rates. LEDCs often have weaker currencies, making going on holidays to them a lot cheaper. Also, advertising and ease of booking. LEDCs now advertise themselves much better and it's easier to book destinations online. Transport. Many countries have upgraded their transport infrastructure to make traveling easier. For instance, in some LEDCs like, say Venezuela, they've upgraded like the roads and the bus system, so or airports and stuff, so it's good to travel to. Lastly, security. Many LEDCs are now much more stable with less security worry, so more people are prepared to go on holiday to them. For instance, look at Brazil. Actually think it's an NIC, but pretend like it's an LEDC. Sure, if you go like to the weird ass places, it is gonna be dangerous, but it's becoming super safe eventually. I mean, not now, it's the World Cup, but it's supposed to be super safe nowadays in like Rio in Brazil. So, it's getting fairly safe compared to what it used to be, so it's less dangerous to go on an LEDC trip. Okay, regions can suffer temporary or even permanent declines in tourism. For instance, that people stop coming for a while or that they just stop coming forever. And this may happen because of terrorism, so people are scared to go. For instance, people might not want to go to Israel because they know that there might be bombs or something. Also, crime. For instance, would you want to go to Mexico or even El Salvador where people might attack you or mug you or kill you or kidnap you or something? Also, natural disasters. You may not want to go to the Caribbean because you're afraid that there'll be hurricanes, or you may not want to go to Mexico because you're afraid that there'll be an earthquake. Also, economic downturn. If there's a recession or a debt crisis, for instance, like there is in Europe, then, people might not go there because, firstly, one, people can't afford to go there, and secondly, the whole area is just really poor, and that's kind of a cycle. When people are poor, unemployed, there's like high crime, so. Also, war. It might be dangerous to go to the place because you might become a war casualty. You might die in a car bombing or some shit. So, or like being shot at by a soldier, for instance, in Afghanistan. Okay, like just look at some examples why a place might be popular. So, France is a very popular tourist destination because, firstly, it's surrounded by MEDCs like Germany, Belgium, UK, Italy, and Spain. So, for instance, if they're doing like a trip, someone going to France, then they can easily go to the other MEDCs. Also, France has an excellent transport network. It has a lot of trains and stuff, like the TGV and shit. Also, it has developed tourist facilities like hotels and tour agencies. It has many, many historical attractions like Eiffel Tower, Notre Dame, l'Arc de Triomphe, Carcassonne, just stuff like that. And it's famous for its food, like the baguettes, and its delicious wine. It also has good weather in the south, nearly all year, like in the French Riviera. And it attracts many different holiday makers, like skiers in, like, Miribel or something, or beach lovers in Cannes, surfers, and rafters, just has lots of different stuff. So, tourism has definitely some advantages. Let's look at some social cultural ones. Firstly, local people can perform traditional dance and music to tourists, therefore protecting their local culture and making money at the same time. Also, tourists may pay to visit museums protecting local artifacts, which is always good. Historical ruins may be protected or rebuilt to attract tourists, and they may improve countries' reputation and create cross-cultural links if lots of tourists come. Lastly, it may encourage education in order to work in tourist sector and should improve linguistic skills. For instance, many people in all the main cities for like tourism places, they all speak English because most of the tourists will be speaking English, so it's like an improvement in their language skills. Okay, but at the same time, there are also social cultural disadvantages of tourism. So, for instance, an increase in tourists may cause greater congestion, which will lead to longer periods spent away from families. Also, increased transport may increase problems of asthma and traffic accidents. And tourism can increase certain crimes like prostitution and theft. And because if there are a lot of people, then there may be pickpockets or something. Also, people may become more materialistic and homogenized with the arrival of international tourists. Lastly, there may be racial tension created between tourists and locals. For instance, we're the locals of Monaco and we're very racist towards all the Asians taking pictures of everything. So that shows you an example of racial tension. Also, economic advantages of tourism. So we just went over the social culture ones, and now we're going to do economic. Firstly, jobs are created for local workers in hotels and in restaurants, etc. Also, secondary jobs are also created in shops, maintenance firms, etc. And workers and companies pay taxes to the government. This money can then be invested into roads and schools and shit like that. So, people learn new skills that can then be transferred to other parts of the economy, which is always a good thing. And new equipment or technology may be introduced to the country, which again can be used in other sectors of the economy. And local infrastructure like roads and electricity may be improved. But at the same time, there are also some economic disadvantages of tourism. Firstly, many of the managerial jobs, so jobs with managing, they go to overseas workers. So local workers often get low paid jobs. Also, there's an economic leakage, so loss of money overseas, because many of the tourist companies are transnational corporations, and the profit is sent elsewhere. It's not staying in the destination country. Also, many jobs are only seasonal, so workers are only paid half of the year. For instance, the ski season is less than 6 months long, and the increased demand for products and services may cause inflation. Because when more people want something and there's not enough product, then the price needs to be raised. Also, countries or regions may become dependent on just one industry, and that's never a good thing. And also, too much tourism may place pressure on infrastructure such as the electricity and water supply. Okay, there are also some environmental advantages of tourism. Firstly, national parks may be created to protect areas of natural beauty. Also, animals obtain an economic value if people are willing to pay to see them. If the value of the animal is greater alive than dead, people will protect them. One good example of this is mountain gorillas, which tourists will pay $500 to see. But there are also some environmental disadvantages. Firstly, sometimes tourist developments may cause the destruction of forests, sand dunes, etc. So when, hotels are being built or something. Also, noise and light pollution created by the tourist developments may also interfere with animals. So when you're building the tourist hotel stuff, it may interfere with animals. And also, tourists may litter and just, make everything dirty as shit. Yeah. So only 2 case studies and then we're done with tourism. It's actually a fairly short topic. So yeah, benefits and disadvantages for local people of tourism in Monaco. So some benefits would be that there are jobs created, for instance, to be a waitress in hotel resorts like the Monte Carlo Bay. Also, foreign exchange income enabling spending on education hospitals like the Hôpital Princesse Grace. Because many people are coming in, there's like a lot more money traveling around the place because, they spend it and stuff. So there's more money that can be spent on education and hospitals like Hôpital Princesse Grace. And also development of infrastructure such as the Gare de Monaco, including the airport in Nice, which is one of the most modern in France. So those are really good benefits. But now the disadvantages. Firstly, locals complain about litter dropped by visitors to the sea at L'Arvoto and the traffic and crowdedness in the casino square. Also, seasonal jobs are often only from May to September, so people, for instance, waiters and stuff, they have no source of income in winter months as fewer hotels are open. Okay, how do physical and human factors encourage growth of tourist industries in Monaco? Well, firstly, there are long sunshine hours, especially from June to September, which enable people to sunbathe at Méridien or Beach Club. Also, there are average temperatures of 24 degrees Celsius during summer months, which will obviously attract tourists, because it's like a beach weather. Also, there's low rainfall between April and October, so tourists can go to L'Arvoto Beach and chill. Also, there's the clean blue Mediterranean Sea for water sports. There are also waterfront restaurants like La Spiaggia for evening entertainment. And there are also clubs like Jimmy's and Zest for recreational activities for at night. Then also there are attractive headlands with cliffs where the Palais des Princes is located. People can enjoy a picturesque environment there and have a picnic or some shit. Or walk around in the old town, in Monaco ville. And also there is ease of access via good roads like Moyenne Corniche and Nice Airport, which is not a road but a good way to access the place. Also, There are beautiful garden expositions like the Jardin Exotique and the Jardin Japonais in front of the Grimaldi Forum. And yeah, there's also events like the Grand Prix, Rolex Masters, Top Marks, and Yacht Show, which can encourage tourists to come and see it. Yeah, that's it.